Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Chair now recognizes Representative Johnson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Madam Undersecretary, thank you so much for joining us today. I was glad to hear Deputy Secretary Regis in his testimony last week affirm the importance of keeping our commitment to our Afghan allies. These are family members of Afghan American U.S. military personnel, children cleared to reunite with their parents, relatives of Afghans have already admitted, and tens of thousands of Afghans who have worked for the United States government during the 20-year war, who were promised a pathway and fully vetted, but now are stranded and waiting. But the department's fiscal year 2026 budget did not include funding to continue Operation Enduring Welcome. The whole of government relocation effort and the State Department reorganization abolishes the offices that were going to do this work. And the administration has ended temporary protected status for Afghans, putting these brave individuals at risk of being sent back as sitting ducks for the Taliban to target. They face retribution for believing in America's promise and something better, but many of the Afghan allies who were able to make it here to the United States still cannot feel safe. In fact, I have a constituent who was an Afghan ally, now detained by ICE with no given reason and sent to another state. So my question, ma'am, is what is the State Department doing to work with the Department of Homeland Security to make sure that DHS does not swoop in and steal our Afghan allies who are here legally?
Thank you, Congresswoman, for that question. And I will defer you to DHS for those specific cases and how they're working on those issues. What I can tell you is that the administration cares very deeply about our Afghan former colleagues and those who were committed to helping the United States in Afghanistan. As you noted, there have been quite a number of Afghans who have been resettled in the United States. There have been 400,000 who have been resettled in the U.S. Since 2021. We're continuing.
But the State Department is revoking their protective status, and so, what are we going to do to help those folks? That's my question, is why are we doing this? And has the State Department, assessed whether Afghans who were connected to the U.S. mission or the former Afghan government are at greater risk of retaliation once they return to Afghanistan?
Thank you, Congresswoman, for that question. The vetting process for bringing Afghans here to the United States we take that as a very serious issue. Every visa that we have provided, it's a national security decision. So just you raised earlier the vetting process, and so we're taking that into. We're very serious about that process. We've seen failures of our vetting process produce almost catastrophic results. There was a situation last fall where someone who had been admitted to the United States had been planning a terrorist attack in Oklahoma City. Fortunately, that was thwarted, but it just highlights just how serious that each of these visa conversations.
I understand that, ma'am, but that doesn't imply that one bad apple spoils the bunch. There's always criminal threats from every sector of every society and every country, every race, everything, and we have the best law enforcement in the world to be able to assess out those threats, but that doesn't mean that you retaliate and punish all those who are here, who are doing good, who put their lives on the line. I'm also concerned that, now that administration has terminated all of our assistance to Afghanistan, our remaining leverage comes from the world standing united against recognizing the Taliban as a legitimate government. But on July 3rd, Russia became the first country to fully diplomatically recognize the Taliban. Did the administration take any action to punish Russia for this outrageous move?
Thank you, Congresswoman. I do have to say that the United States has not terminated all of its assistance to Afghanistan. The office formerly known as CARE, all of those functions continue, as we've talked about today, under the oversight and direction of our regional bureau responsible, which is the South and Central Asia Bureau, in the Department of State. So all those functions with regard to assistance to Afghanistan and to Afghans that remain in the region, all of that continues. I just want to be clear on that point.
Thank you, ma'am.
And-
Unfortunately, I'm out of time.
Oh.
I yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative yields back. Representative Huizenga is recognized.